So I want to give you a fairly simple but important tip about lining up, because when I watch golfers, I notice a lot of the time, a lot of people are setting up to their shot and then using their club sort of across their thighs or across the feet and trying to line their feet up to the target. Now, it's not your feet that are hitting the ball, it's your club face. So we need to make sure our club face is aligned to the target, and then your feet will actually be a little bit left of the target. Now, my basket here is representing my target. If I get my feet lined up to that, you can see that pushes my club face out to the right. So a really great way to get it right is to do what the pros do. Pick a spot in front of the ball, take your club face, line it up to your spot, and then line your body up in relation to your club face. So you'll come around behind the ball, pick a leaf or a twig or something about a club length or two in front of the ball in line with the target, pop your club down in line with your spot, and then get your feet parallel to that. So your feet are always a little bit left of the target. So this is a direction tip, and it involves the lines on the club face here. So when you're swinging correctly, as you take the club back and you take it to a point where the club's parallel to the ground, the lines here on the club face are up to the sky. Now when you get into that position, your wrist is able to break correctly, and it's going to allow the club face to square back up again for you. And then on this side of the ball, the lines again are up to the sky. So essentially you want lines up to the sky here, lines up to the sky here, and that is the correct motion of the club face. That'll help straighten you up. If you tend to pull the ball off to the left, that could be a sign that you're actually closing off your club face on the way back. That's a really common fault. So focus, if direction is a problem for you, on lines up going back, lines up coming through, and that should help you get all the correct motions throughout that crucial impact position. If you're having directional problems, hitting some balls left, slicing them off to the right, it could be that you're coming over the top. Now, over the top just means from the top of the backswing, the club is coming out, you're spinning your body, and you're coming across, pulling the ball left or slicing it off to the right. So it's a really common problem, and a great way to help fix it is to try and pump your club like this. So you get to the top, drop the club down, pump it down into place, finish off the swing. Do that again, top of the backswing, pump the club down, finish off the swing, and get a feel for dropping that club in rather than getting it out and over the top. Give that a try, practice a little bit, and then try and incorporate that feeling into your full swing, and that'll help you straighten up. So this week's tip comes to you from Millbrook, which is a gorgeous resort in Queenstown in New Zealand. So it's very pretty here, and we have the golf course in the background, but this week's tip is using a tennis racket rather than a golf club, and this is all about direction. So if you struggle with direction, if you tend to pull the ball left or hit a weak one out to the right, it could be your club face control. Now that sounds very complicated, but all it really means is allowing your club face to work correctly throughout the swing. So as you turn back, your club face should line up like this to the sky. So on a golf club, the face will point up, and it's really easy to see with a tennis racket. And then as you come through and the body turns through, the lines on the club face or the tennis racket will go up the same way. So I'll turn around so you can see. The club face would be in this angle, and the same on this side. Now if you tend to take your club face back in this manner, where it's a little bit across on the way back, you're going to get some directional problems, a lot of lefts and rights. So check your backswing. If you find your club face is across, make sure you open it up so it's pointing up to the sky. The lines on the club face will point up. Easy to do with a tennis racket because it's just really easy to see. Get out in the backyard, do some swings, let the body turn, make sure you get the upright on the way back and the same on the way through, and that should really help your direction. I have a great drill for you that involves using your wrists and your thumbs to get you in all the right positions, and it's a brilliant half swing drill that you can do. And you'll take your setup, and as you swing halfway back, point your thumbs up to the sky here, and that gets the wrist hinging correctly. And as you come through, point your thumbs to the target, because you won't hinge your wrist the same way on the follow through as you do on the backswing. So thumbs go to the sky, thumbs go to the target. You can actually hit some half swing shots doing that. Thumbs up, thumbs through, and it just gets you in all the right positions, gets the wrists hinging correctly, gets a nice powerful follow through. So get those thumbs pointing in the right direction. If you tend to lack power and find your balls are weak and out to the right, you could be trying to steer the ball straight. So ideally when you're swinging in the golf swing, the lines on the club point to the sky and point to the sky. And all that is the release of the club. So the lines are up here and the lines are up here, and that's the club releasing, and that will give you the correct power and direction. If you tend to steer, you often get this sort of position where the elbow starts to bend and the club face is open. So you're in that position coming through. So a great drill, if you tend to steer and get the weak one out to the right, is lines up to the sky here, lines up to the sky here, and feel the right forearm rotating over the left forearm. So we call that forearm rotation in golf. The right forearm rotating over the left, but essentially it's lines on the club face up here, lines on the club face up there, and hopefully that will straighten you and add a bit of power. I'd really like you to set up using your club to start the setup. I see a lot of people, when they set up for their shot, put their feet down where they think they want to aim up and then put the club down. The problem with that is your distance from the ball might be incorrect and your alignment could be wrong. So it's always best to put your club down first. So this is what most of the pros do, and this is what I recommend is a really good way to take your setup position, is to put the club down first, line it up to where you're heading, and then take your feet and your setup. That way you can monitor the distance from the ball and you can also line yourself up. So first thing you're going to do is pick your alignment. You're going to place your club down first and then line your body up in relation to the club, and that should hopefully get you into a good setup position every time. A really common problem in golf is cutting across the line of the ball. So instead of swinging straight through to the target, getting to the top and the weight goes back and the club cuts across, and you get this sort of elbowy chicken wing sort of action. So you'll tend to get a weak slice out to the right, or you might pull the ball across to the left. It costs you a lot of power and it costs you some consistency as well. So here's a great drill to help you if you tend to cut across the ball. And all you're going to do is do a half swing back, and then you're going to come through, pushing the weight onto the left and extending out, almost pointing the club straight at the target. So two things to think of: the weight comes across to the left, and then you really extend out, keeping the arms nice and straight and pointing the club straight to the target. So if you can do that with some half swings at the range with a 7-iron, something like that, over and over and over again, till you get that feel, that will eliminate that weak one out to the right where you cut across. I wanted to explain to you how your grip affects the direction of your shots. Now, when you take your grip, if your left hand, or right hand for left-handers, is too much on top of the club, like so, that's going to make the ball go to the left. If your left hand is too much underneath the club, like so, that's going to make the ball go out to the right. So your grip has a big effect on the direction of your shot. So what you need is a neutral grip, where the left hand is in a position that as you look down at it without moving your head too much to the side, you can see the first two knuckles of your left hand. So make sure when you set yourself up, you can see your first two knuckles, and that's going to make sure that your grip is not going to adversely affect the direction of your shots.